This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview.
Silver Bullet Mines Corp has entered an agreement to process high-grade material from a past-producing silver mine near its Buckeye Silver Mine in Arizona. The material, sourced from a third-party site, will be processed at SBMI's mill, generating revenue from the silver concentrate or indeed doré bars. Well, joining us today is Peter Clouser, the VP Capital Markets for Silver Bullet Mines. Thank you, Peter. How are you feeling after this news?
Well, this is something to celebrate. I've told other people that when we built the mill, that was just part of the business plan. The business plan was build the mill so we can process our own material or generate revenue from third-party material. And that's what we're doing. So today is a day for celebration.
Good. And you've done your initial sampling there of the silver. You have grades showing up to 45.4 ounces per ton and 90% recoveries. So obviously the process is working pretty well.
Yeah, the mill is humming right along. I talked to the field team, and they're very happy with the performance of the mill. And it can only get better over time.
Sure.
But we ran due diligence before we entered into this agreement. A 200-pound sample, a 500-pound sample, and then sampling directly out of the vein at surface, which really is a great sentence, right? Directly out of the vein at surface. Mm-hmm. And you've seen what the numbers are. The property passed due diligence, so we entered into the agreement to process that arm's length material.
Okay. And I noticed from the press release as well, you say that management reasonably believes that the material has excellent upgrade capability and that the mill can process the material without any required circuit changes. So when you talk about upgrade capability, what do you mean here?
Probably tonnage.
Okay.
That we can upgrade. The mill was designed and built in a modular fashion.
Okay.
So we can bolt on other pieces to increase the daily tonnage.
Right. Okay, perfect. That makes sense. So just going through some of the numbers here, and I don't know what you can comment on, but just using some of those numbers from the press release that came out, and you've said you want to mine, ship, and process 50 tons a day initially, and we're talking sort of grades around, say, 20 ounces per ton. So that would effectively work out at around 900 ounces daily, taking the current silver price, 27,900 revenue.
That 900 ounces is out of the concentrate, assuming 90% recovery.
Assuming 90% recovery, yes, indeed. And if we take all of that as given, that would equate to about $27,900 revenue per day. Is that right?
That, I cannot argue with your math.
Right, okay.
Right, we're limited by securities law in making those projections. But I cannot argue with your math based upon what's in the press release.
Right, okay, good. And I mean, have you thought about sort of how many days a year you'd want to operate it? It won't be every single day, presumably.
Optimists would tell you 300 to 325. I have far too much life experience to be an optimist about that. So when I run my personal math, I use 250 days a year.
Right, okay. Good. Okay, well, people can certainly do their own calculations on that to work out what that figure is there. But I mean, you must be feeling quite good about that. And I guess at some point you'll be able to announce formally those revenue numbers.
Yes, so we are feeling good about it. You'll recall that we were working out of the Buckeye, and then MSHA showed up and gave us some suggestions how to improve safety at the mine.
Yeah.
So we temporarily halted mining there. And rather than just sitting around, we looked for other projects. There are a lot of projects around Globe, Arizona, where our mill is, that could use third-party milling like we're providing. So we've been in negotiations with several parties. This is the first one to come to fruition. And we're happy with it because, as I mentioned, this is part of the 4-year business plan that we put into place in 2020.
And I'm glad you said that, because I think the press release alluded to the fact that you'd perhaps be looking for similar relationships, generating revenue from similar regional materials, regional operators in the area.
Yes. And quite frankly, we're shameless. Whatever gives us the most revenue at the highest grade with the least wear and tear on our mill, that's what we'll do.
Okay, good. I want to ask you about the ideal scenario in perhaps towards the end of the year. I don't know if you can comment on that in terms of sort of Well, let's just say what milestones you're looking for. You're looking to get that first invoice in, even though you might not be able to say exactly what the number will be.
Correct.
Okay.
One of the things we have to do is send out the concentrate for a third-party multi-element analysis. So you know how much silver, how much zinc, how much lead. Our assay department in-house can only do the silver. We can't do the multi-element. So we're sending the assays out. We know exactly what we're selling, and the buyer knows exactly what they're buying. Yeah. There is no shortage of persons interested in purchasing concentrate. They just want to know what's in it.
Right. Okay. And that will all be sorted throughout Q4. So effectively, Silver Bullet Mines will be generating fairly significant revenue as we go into the end of the year.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears. We should have the Buckeye into production by then. And if the contract miner shows up at the Washington mine in Idaho on schedule, we should be, as the press releases have stated, we should be into revenue there late November, early December. Okay. So by December 31, it's an entirely defensible statement to say that we will be in 3 revenue streams.
Excellent. Well, indeed, a transformational quarter, Peter. Thank you very much. We've been following, of course, this for a while. It's really great to see you getting there. So we'll be talking again as some of those other milestones are hit. As you say, the Buckeye Mine, I've seen the picture from the RNS there. People can see you've got the ventilation sort of being installed there. So I guess we can wait to see official news that the mine has restarted. And, of course, the processing of those third-party stockpiles. Right.
And technically, it's not restarted because we didn't close it down. We just had to put it on temporary hold while we did the safety work.
Sure. Well, thank you very much.
I realize I'm picky about the wording, but I'm picky about the wording.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Peter Clousey, the VP of Capital Markets at Silver Bullet Mines. And we are doing a podcast with you in a short while, which will be going up next week. So investors in Silver Bullet Mines can stand by for that. We'll learn all about Peter Clousey, the man. But for now, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stockboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.